Welcome back to Hogwarts Legacy. In this video, I'm going to be teaching you how to be overpowered early in the game. And just quickly before we get into this one, if you enjoy the video, I would appreciate it if you could leave a like, as they really help me out. And if you want to stay up to date with my Hogwarts Legacy content, then make sure you sub to the channel and turn notifications on. Okay, so there are currently enemies in front of me, and this isn't becoming overpowered as in you're going to deal 1,000,000 damage right at the start of the game. This is becoming overpowered as in you're going to overwhelm your enemies whilst taking minimal or even no damage. We are going to be using the starting spells. We've got Accio, Levioso, and Incendio. And this is going to be how to efficiently use the spells to build combos and to make sure that you don't take damage. It's going to help you out so much with the combat. If there are enemies you find that are a few levels above you, you're going to be able to deal with them. So if we go and we take a look at these enemies, the first spell I like using is Levioso. And then after that I use 3 basic spells, Accio and then Incendio. You have to ignore the Ring of Fire and stuff. That's because I've actually leveled up through the talent tree, so my spells are a little bit more powerful. But again, Levioso, 3 attacks, Accio, Incendio, and then keep going with the basic spell. And then when you see a shield like that, you have to use a fire-based spell. You get purple and yellow ones as well, so purple would be Accio, yellow Levioso. And then, when you get further into the game, you get things like Ancient Magic, where you can devastate enemies. For some reason, that survived. And again, or was that... Okay, you must have transformed. See, and a lot of people mentioned in a previous video to use the spell, the basic spell, 4 times. Did the enemies just disappear? No, there's one over here. Oh, they're all here. But people were mentioning to use the basic spell 4 times. Say you use Levioso first, then use Accio. When you use the basic spell 4 times, it's going to put the enemies on the floor. They're going to have a chance to stand back up and deal damage to you. That's why I use 3, even though the 4th hit deals more damage. I use 3 basic spells, and then I use one of the other ones just to keep the enemies airborne. So again, Levioso, and we do 3 basic hits, Accio, Incendio, and then basic again, and the enemy is dead. Nice and simple. As well as the main... Hold up, can I use Ancient Magic against you and just slam you against the floor? Yeah, there you go. So without them transforming into wolves and stuff, that's the actual Ancient Magic power meter thing. You'll see it above your health in the bottom right. But then, if there's objects in the area, once you get far enough to unlock Ancient Magic, you can press the right bumper and you can launch objects at enemies. So with the basic spells, you can't use talents, you can't use traits. If I show you an example of what a trait is in this game, this is what I want when I do my damage builds and stuff. You'll see there, trait slot level 2, but I've got Scorching 1, increased damage with Incendio. Then you get talents, and if we quickly have a look at these, when it comes to spells, you'll have things like enemies near a target summoned by Accio are also pulled to you. Then casting Incendio unleashes a ring of flame around you. You have to progress in the story to unlock the talent trees, but there are 5 of them. They are very, very helpful. However, be careful with those because you've got limited points and no respec available in the game. But when you are at the very, very beginning, it's probably the most important to make sure you're chaining combos together, especially when you unlock Ancient Magic. That's how you build up that blue bar, by using combos. And I highly recommend using, you can even do Accio first if you want to, but then Incendio isn't going to really work unless you go Accio, Incendio, and then Levioso. The only reason is Incendio has such a short range, so you have to have an enemy right in front of you, and the best way to do that is to use Accio, pull them in towards you, then use Incendio. When I say short range, I mean it's a very, very short range. If I use it, you'll see that it reaches probably as far as the Ring of Fire, away from you, that sort of range. When you get Confringo later on, that's got a much better range, and I think it's actually a bit more powerful. But at the start of the game, Incendio, short range, so make sure you are combining that with Accio, pull the enemies towards you, then set them on fire. It's going to deal a lot of damage. And remember, the 4th hit with your basic spell is going to deal more damage. Plus, when you have the yellowy orange sort of symbol above your head, hold down your Y button. You're going to use Protego to protect yourself with a shield, and use Stupefy, which is going to stun enemies by holding it down. If you press it, you can use Protego, but holding it down is much better because you get Stupefy as well. But as soon as that symbol is red, you cannot block that attack whatsoever. You have to use your dodge. And then through the talent tree later on, you can also get this amazing ability that lets you dash whilst you're dodging, as long as you just hold it down. So make sure you're paying attention to the symbols above your head in combat. You can dodge out of the way of the yellow ones as well. The red ones you have to dodge. Yellow ones you can block and deflect. When it comes to the shields around the enemies, make sure you're using the corresponding spell. So a red shield, Incendio, purple Accio, yellow Levioso. And then it's just about realistically keeping your enemies airborne, or even using things later on like Expelliarmus to disarm enemies and things like that. It's about making your enemies weak in the sense of they can't really attack you and deal damage to you, and then you're dealing all the damage and just absolutely wrecking them. Make sure you synergize your spells. I can't stress it enough how important it is to utilize all your different spells. Make sure they are synergizing, because I wouldn't run something like, let's say, Accio and Depulso with Expelliarmus and Incendio. And that's because Confringo is a lot more powerful. Well, it's at least got a lot more range than Incendio. And not only that, for the shields, if a yellow shield enemy comes along and I don't have Levioso on, I'm not going to be able to destroy it unless I use Ancient Magic. And using Ancient Magic to launch objects at enemies, you have to have the objects around you, otherwise you can't do it. Because just launching an object at an enemy will destroy any shield. And what we're going to do is leave that video there. Let me know your thoughts about Hogwarts Legacy in the comments. And check out this video if you want to see other content on the channel. I will see you in the next one. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you for watching.